Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Cammy's View. I'm your host, Cammy, and today we're going to be talking about something that is very important, which is basically how Nigeria handles disasters. And that's a very important topic. Especially in our country, everything seems like a disaster. Right now we're all protesting about SARS, which is actually very important, and our government is behaving like they just woke up from a 4 month coma starting no, it's even 6 months, like from when the pandemic started. They were like, oh my god, what's going on? Please, you guys know what's happening and they're trying to pretend. But today, even though I really want to talk about SARS, and I will make a video on it, guys. Today I'm going to be talking about a different kind of disaster, which is related to road accidents, gas and pipeline explosions. Yes, that is actually very important. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this is the deal. Here's the deal. Stop that. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today, which I already mentioned before, gas line, tankers, basically all sorts of road slash pipeline explosion accidents, sort of. Yeah. Anyways, so according to, I know some of us are like, wait, why is she talking about gas pipeline? I mean, yeah, they're important, but are they that important? Yes. And as you guys probably know by now, I like to do a lot of research, and I decided to go online to do some research, and I found out on worldexpectancy.com. I think it's world life expectancy because that would make more sense. I will check it and put it in the link below so that you guys can go check too. I went there to see how much road accidents do contribute to the life expectancy of Nigerians. And by the way, do you know that Nigerians have an average life expectancy of around 55 to 60 years? Like, it is so, because like I never really thought about it, but if you think about, like, most of us know people, like most of us have grandparents, and like it just never really occurred to me that we had such a low life expectancy. And now that I think about it and we look at all the public health issues that we have, so many people are getting killed by SARS and the police and people who are stealing ballot boxes, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not here to talk about that. But yeah, and we have so many people who give birth and their children die from all sorts of diseases. Maybe we have like very little vaccination, like enhancement programs, except from the ones coming from like the UN, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. But it's just like a whole thing. And so I was like really, really surprised when I realized that our life expectancy was so low. For comparison, the US's life expectancy is around 78 years, and the global one is around 69-ish. I will check those stats. I'm not sure, but I will put them in the link, or maybe here when I'm done. Anyways, so I went there and I was like, okay, let us see, the causes of death, and they ranked them all according to importance. So, according to, there we go, according to importance, and I mean, we had the normal ones that we all know. We have HIV, we have malnutrition. Like I noticed, like the ones that we have, people, the ones people talk about a lot, cancer, stroke, all of them, they were all there. But the road accident one was number 16. Like the ranking was, it's the 16th highest cause of death in Nigeria. Road accidents. In 2018, Nigeria had over 40,000. Yeah, I'm looking at my computer in case I'm looking this way because I want to get the stats right. In 2018, Nigeria had over 40,000 deaths, or deaths, if that's the way you pronounce it. 40,000 people died in 2018 because of road accidents. Now, that is different from the number of people that get into road accidents. The number of people that do get injured from road accidents, people that go into coma or are traumatized. So many other things happen to people during the road accident, but number of people that actually lose their lives, 40,000. Now, for comparison, I did some checking, and this is actually more, this is real, more than the number of people that died from hypertension, suicide, and kidney disease combined in that year. That's how bad it was. In fact, malnutrition, which is actually a main problem in like many African countries, and I'm sure some of you have seen all those maybe ads on YouTube or those organizations, and I mean they are trying to do good because they want to help African countries, and so they're usually like, oh, let's go to donate to Africa. We're going to Africa to go and give them food. UNHCR, UNDP, UN, everybody, they are all coming to Africa to come and feed the hungry children. But the people, this is not like being insensitive, but like if you compare that, there's so much campaign going around like malnutrition. I know that we need to save children, and apparently the amount of people that died from malnutrition in Nigeria in that same year was around 46,000. And I understand that we need to feed people, but what I'm trying to get at is, why don't we have that much press around road accidents? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with like the malnutrition campaigns and having coming to feed people who need food, because that is important. Like, people have to be alive to even drive. But then if you save them from malnutrition, then you don't need to go and send them to the road to die. Okay, maybe that was too much, but that is the point. Okay, so if malnutrition is that important, and not even just malnutrition, like hypertension. We know how much we talk about hypertension. The parents are like, please don't give me BP. I'm not for me high blood pressure. Like, how many people have just slumped and died, and it's actually very important. Suicide was a thing that was like really rampant, especially like the year I wrote jam. Like, people were just committing suicide because of the state of the country, jams, because it was really a big thing. Sniper, like, they need to get rid of that stuff. Yeah, and people really talked about hypertension, suicide, mental health is something that is also coming up in Nigeria, and I feel like all these topics are important. But I feel like the issue of road accidents is like something that you just learn in social studies, and you're like, oh, what happens on the road, or maybe what is the disadvantage of road transportation. Many accidents are plenty. That is not normal, people. Okay, road accidents, yes, it's easier for you to get into an accident on the road, but that doesn't mean that like it's a 50-50% chance to where you're going. Like, the road should be a means of transportation to a place, not to heaven. Sorry, this is not a funny matter, but seriously, we need to talk about this. And so that is why I went through all the stress to come here and talk to you guys about this. And I know some of us are like, okay, so what are we going to do about roads? First thing first is that, we complain about roads a lot in Nigeria. Like, it's like number one issue. Whenever you just walk up to somebody, they're like, oh my God, like, how the roads? They're like, the road, the traffic, the clinical, which is like true. And even when we have floods and just even ordinary heavy rain, the next thing, the road is flooded, people start getting infections, people's cars start getting spoiled. It's just a whole thing. So yeah, the roads are something that we need to really fix. And just like tapping into my social studies and geography, roads are important. Roads are how we get to places. Roads are how, like, people do, like, we rely so much on the roads. According to social studies, which most of you probably know, roads are like how you even get to the other means of transportation. So even all these air and water and road that we're all like worshipping and everything, they are not going to be able to function without roads, because you can't just call like Delta to your house and be like, oh yeah, we need to go to Paris. Or you can't just call, I don't know, Navarre cruise lines and be like, oh, I need to go to Spain, but I don't want to go by water. No, it's not gonna happen. You have to drive there, and you need to be alive to do whatever you want to do on the airplane or the boat or the railway. And so I just think that it's really important that we need to talk about road accidents. And I know, yes, we need to like we need to like hold our leaders accountable, because they are responsible for, you know creating and maintaining these roads. But in case you guys have noticed a little bit, Kami's view is actually more of a people-centered discussion channel thingy. I'm looking the name, but basically I want to should I say, with the help of the people in the comments, of course, you guys should be commenting. I don't know why people don't comment, but basically what I'm trying to achieve is looking for people-centered solutions. Now, the reason why I do this is because we know that so many things that we leave up to our governments, like, okay, we want to fix the roads and we are waiting for the government, it never happens. If you keep waiting for the government, nothing is going to happen. But if you have a solution that is mainly dependent on the people, then if it doesn't work out, then it's you are the reason why you are living in that condition. So basically, what I'm trying to say is if we make solutions that are based on us, we can implement them because we will be willing to do them. And so we will have more progress. And some things that I came up with is basically, first of all, one of the main reasons why people get into road accidents in the first place is because of bad roads. And first thing I would say is safe driving. Do not text and drive. Do not call and drive. Nigerian drivers, like try and raise awareness about, should I say, driving in general. Know how to drive. Don't like carry your father's car, university students. Don't go and carry your daddy's car to go and flex on campus. It's usually not gonna end well. I know someone personally that did that and it did not end well. Anyways, also learn to obey like laws and signs. I know they may be stupid sometimes and you're like, this traffic light is probably not even working, but like, are you sure? Are you sure? And you just don't want to compound to, should I say, the probability of you having an accident on the road because the roads are already usually bad. But even bad roads, whenever I check what is the main cause of death on the roads, is usually bad roads. And that is, considerable because you need to be able to drive on a smooth road for you to not be dancing in your car without you actually moving. But another thing that I would suggest is community sponsored road projects. Community sponsored road projects. Basically, coming together as a community, like most people that live in any sort of community, there's usually like this council, not like your local government thingy, but like the meeting that they do when they call all the houses together into like somebody's car park and they're like, my neighbor, that you only go for like once a year or maybe when the security bill is due. You guys. Anyways, things like that. All of us live in some sort of community, except you are living like on the road, which is not a bad thing. But most of us live in community. Some of us even live in estates, and in those estates or those communities, our roads are like those things that those like interlocking sport thingies, and they're like mountain ranges. Mountain ranges. It's really sad. Like, we are not supposed to be laughing about this, okay? Basically, our roads are MNS, okay? And but unfortunately, we are waiting for the government to do something about it. But it's us that are dying. I mean, whenever we talk about Nigerian government and everything, one trend that I always hear is this Nigerian government. I don't even understand. Like, it's just so annoying, so frustrating. Like, they are just like so uncompassionate, so this, so that, so that. And it is true because they are not being affected. It's a human nature, but mostly applies to Nigerian politicians, people, because they are not being directly affected. You can't really expect them to be pressured to do much. But we, the people who we are losing people, losing relatives, families, getting injured on the roads, if we don't do something about it, the direct impact is going to be on us. Maybe them in like 4 years when they want to rerun and are like, oh, I'm not voting for you. That road by Akwata, it has been clinical. It is in 4 years that they will get their revenge. You can get your revenge. No, why am I even saying revenge? You can be injured tomorrow. They will not be injured. They will just be like, oh, they lost the election. They'll go and contest in another local government. That's basically the life cycle of politicians. It's really sad. So, what we need to do, guys, is if you're in a community, come together. I know it's hard, but it's actually not that hard. At the same time, how do you fix roads? I actually saw this video online of a man who fixes roads like every day for free. It's like it's not in an NGO, he just does it personally out of his own time. And so Nigerians, we have to stop waiting for our government, and I like that is what is being represented, especially now with the SARS protests. And I think that's actually very good that celebrities are also standing up and supporting people. Just do the same in your communities, because I do not think road accidents should be taken seriously. That number really scared me because I was like 40,000 people. What? Like, how many people are in some people's village? I don't even know how many people are in my village, but they're like, I do not know. It's probably around that same number. But like, people, we need to be very conscious about our roads. And yeah, that's just all I wanted to say about the roads. Second thing I wanted to say would be tanker and pipeline explosion, and this one may be a little harder because we don't really have a say over where tankers go and where pipeline explosions and well, where pipelines are put, because those things are not really, I mean, you can vote for the person that will fix the road, but you can't really vote for the person that is going to build your pipeline per se. Anyways, pipeline explosions have been very common. Tanker explosion, gas, whatever they want to call them, they've been too common in Nigeria. Like this year alone, they've been like six, and I'm like, hey, people, is this like a monthly? Like, are we? What's going on? And the unfortunate thing is that every time this happens, many people get injured, many people lose lives and properties, and it's just like devastating. And we're like, what's this going on? Are you people like trying to kill us slowly? Because I don't understand. Like, if you're going to increase price, like, let there be people alive to buy the ridiculously high fuel. So yeah, but what I wanted to say is that I think what we should do is to pressure our government. For example, one annoying thing I saw on Twitter by the president, Mr. President, he was comparing Nigerian's fuel price to the Saudi Arabia's fuel price. And I was like, Mr. President, I will take you up on that. Okay, I will take you up on that. In Saudi Arabia, they don't have pipeline explosions. In Saudi Arabia, I went to Dubai, which is pretty close to Saudi Arabia, and so I'm going to just stereotypically generalize everywhere. I didn't see no tankers in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia produces like a lot of the world's oil, and you don't hear pipeline explosions like every month going on in Saudi Arabia. So like all these excuses, it's not gonna happen. The US also produces a lot of oil. Texas, which is like the size of Nigeria, is like the third largest oil producing region in the world. Yeah, that's like a thing. If Texas was a country, it would be third largest producer of oil in the world. That's if Texas was a country. So you can imagine how much oil like the US as a whole is producing, and you do not hear of explosions. Yeah, maybe they have Gulf and oil spills. I will come back to that later, but I'm talking about explosions, people. Like, what is going on? So, like, all these excuses the Nigerian government is making, I'm not gonna hear it, okay? I'm not gonna hear it. And, people, what can we do about this? For example, first of all, let us hold NNPC and other oil companies accountable. All these what do you call them? All these compensation and condolences is like a template now. It's as if whenever you want to go into power in Nigeria, there's like a template for condolence, there's a template for like compensation. Whenever something happens, because like that's just the way it is. Like I could be here now and something is exploding in Lagos, or I could be filming another video tomorrow and then something is exploding in Kaduna. And I'm like, hey, people, I don't want condolence, okay? They will be sharing compensation. They will mention the amounts in the beginning and you'll be like, it's billions of naira. But when NNDC was stealing their own money, they were stealing their own money in billions and hundreds of billions. Nobody remembered that one that time. So I was just like, hey, people, like for example, now NNPC, they were sharing something billion, and by the time they calculated it to the amount of money that they gave each family that lost a life, it came down to 2.5 million naira. And I'm like, okay, so are you trying to like equate the value of one life to 2.5 million naira? And they didn't even compensate people that lost properties, they didn't compensate people that lost whole buildings. All those people now, they gave them 2.5 million naira. What are they supposed to do with it? They're not going to bring that person back. I mean, people don't want your money, they just want good governance. Okay. And another thing is that we need to also look for the truth, because I feel like people will approach a situation differently if they knew the truth. For example, now NNPC's, like, should I say, pattern of action has been, whenever something explodes, they will say it was a gas plant, it was vandalism, but it's not them. That's like the, should I say, pattern of action they've been doing. They will try to make it seem as if, oh, okay, it's not them, like they couldn't have done anything. But I actually watched a documentary by BBC Africa Eye. Thank you to BBC, like channels and TVC. I don't know if it is now politicians that own those channels, because why should BBC be the one doing the forensics on an explosion that occurred in a country that, but like, thank you BBC anyways, because I would not be here talking about this. I will put the link to the full thing in the description below. But like, this is a clip from the video where they were like talking about I think when what people were describing, what people saw when the explosion was going on.
But BBC Africa Eye found one video that was shot in the moments before the explosion. We tracked down the person who shot this clip, and using the metadata from her phone, confirmed that it was recorded at 8:51, 5 minutes before the blast. So what does it tell us? First, It shows that before anything had ignited, there was a major leak of vaporized liquid coming from a single source. It also gives us a precise location for that leak. This is the view captured on the girl's phone. We see the car park and the electricity pylon. If we move into Google Street View, we can see the roof line of a hostel belonging to the Bethlehem Girls' College. The NNPC's explanation was that the truck collided with gas cylinders stored at a gas processing plant located near their pipeline. So could this leak be coming from gas cylinders? Satellite imagery taken before the blast shows that there was no gas processing plant at this site. And this drone footage, shot less than 48 hours before the explosion, confirms that no gas cylinders were stored here. Some of the videos filmed among the ruins do show gas cylinders. But these cylinders are more than 80 meters away from the center of the explosion. If they had been thrown this far by the force of the blast, they could not have all landed in the same place. But the most compelling evidence is in the video itself. We know that this clip was shot at 8:51 a.m., 5 minutes before the blast. No gas cylinder can contain enough fuel to sustain a leak at this volume and pressure for so long.
What happened was the pipeline was already compromised and there was a tanker on it that weighed like about 25 tons. So basically what happened is because the structure of the pipeline was not good in the first place, the tanker's weight on the pipeline made it explode. So basically this is not the tanker's fault because we already know that tankers move around in Nigeria. So that is, except they want to like start taking tankers off the road or something. We know tankers move in Nigeria, so that is not the problem. But the problem was NNPC putting the blame on the tanker, especially since that particular pipeline that goes from I think Lagos to somewhere in the north or in the mid Nigerian belt thingy, whatever. That particular pipeline has had about 4 explosions in the last 2 years. So this is not about the tankers. This is about that particular pipeline that they have refused to maintain. And so I'm like, if people knew that, they would not be accepting 2.5, because the way it seems now, it seems like NNPC is this generous charity that is like, oh, it's not our fault, you know? But like, out of the goodness of our heart, let us just give you money. And I'm like, really? That's what you guys are going with? Because if people knew that it was because of you people's, should I say, nonchalance and negligence that the pipeline exploded because of a tanker that should be even able to pass that area just stayed on the pipe. Like, I don't even understand. Like, we have tankers, the people have tankers in the US, the people have tankers in other countries, and their roads are not exploding. You know, the situation that's another thing that relates to bad Nigerian roads. If the road was good, the weight of the tanker should not press. It's not like the tanker was on, it's not like it packed, the pipeline was under the ground. I think it was like 12 feet, which I don't even think is enough in the first place. And because of the road that's probably eroded, because of the rain, because of bad roads, people. So this is like another thing that I'm trying to connect. Yes, I know this is ultimately the government's fault, and because they were supposed to make sure NNPC is actually keeping by the guidelines that they actually have in this association of petrol pipeline people, and they were not making them, like, they were not checking to hold them accountable because they're probably getting bribes from them, and also they didn't fix the road. So basically it was just an accumulation of corruption and negligence over a long period of time. And I'm not saying that the people could have avoided this, because I mean, how many things can people do? But I'm saying that in areas like this, if it was like regarding pipeline and gas and explosions, I would just say that for Nigerians, please, if you have a house that you can't move out of. If you're renting an apartment, I really understand, but please try and make sure that whenever you are getting a house, you're living somewhere, maybe going to school somewhere, because that place is also near a school. If you are going somewhere, please make sure that like how did they make sure that you are not around the pipeline. Please make sure you're not around the gas one, because these things are like they have absolutely no standard of maintenance. Like anything can happen. And now my computer is low and now I have to go get the charger. Hold on, I should get a charger now. Okay. Hmm. Aha, where was I? Now it is charging. So basically what I'm saying is that people, even though our government is, and they can make us, we need to start protecting ourselves. As people say, I'm just going to reiterate this because we give advice to ourselves a lot without knowing it. We say, oh, why should they care? Exactly, why should they care? Like, yes, there are leaders, but I think we've established that Nigerian leaders are not really leaders, they're just politicians, people. And so if we are the ones that, like, you never hear like maybe a senator's son died in a gas plant explosion. No, where they live there are no gas plants there. Well, if there are gas plants, it's definitely not near the house, and if it's near the house, then that gas plant is probably reinforced with concrete steel. But we are the ones living basically in powder kegs, and whenever something happens they will come and they will be sharing condolence. And I know I seem kind of tense about this, but people, we cannot be losing Nigerians every day. Okay, we like to compare ourselves with all these big countries, and we like to be, oh, let's be like the US, let's be like Saudi Arabia, let's da, 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 da. If you want to be like a country, you have to copy them completely. Okay, yeah, you don't just copy the bad thing, you copy the good thing too. Oh my gosh. But people, I'm just like, it is true, okay? It is true. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Because, like, oh yeah, and another thing is that people, this is not spiritual, okay? The Ember people, this is not because we're in December or November or September. No, okay? The US, Saudi Arabia, all of them are also in September, and they are religious people there. And I'm telling you, they got spirits. They got spirits, they got witches, they got everything. They literally have a holiday called Halloween to celebrate the witches. So if it was witches and end of the year, I think they would have the same problem too. So trust me, the witches are not only in Africa. Yeah, that's true. That's true, people. And so I feel like once we remove all the sentiments and the excuses and we see the problem for what it is, anything, any efforts that you put into, you'll be able to say, okay, this is why it's not working. If I put 100 million into a road building project for my whole estate, if I remove the sentimentality of, okay, let me not give it to my friend that's probably not going to do it well, let me not give it to Baba Lekon that is going to steal half of the money. If I spend that money and the road is not complete, there are less places I have to track such incompetence or whatever caused the road project to not be good. So basically, people, I know this was probably a little bit long, but I just needed to go and, like, we just need to create awareness on road accidents, okay? Because this is something that happens every day. As I'm looking now, there's a road accident somewhere and somebody has died. Maybe there's a patient in the hospital from a road accident and that person has died. If you have 40,000 people dying in a year, that means that every day about 100 people are dying from road accidents. That is like 12 people every hour. I don't know. Okay, I don't know math, but like that's 4 people ish every hour, and that's just too much. It's too much. Okay, guys. Oh my gosh. Nigeria's problem, eh? Nigeria's problem cannot, you cannot be carrying Nigeria's problem on the road. And some encouragement is this video I found online from a Kenyan community that decided to fix their community. Decided to fix something in their community because they could not wait for the government anymore. And I'm saying, please, Nigerians, we don't need to, it's not only America and UK and Saudi Arabia and London and Spain and everybody that we have to be copying. We can copy good African, well, not like the whole country, but like good communities in Africa that are doing something that's progressive. Okay, so thank you all for watching this episode. I know it was like a little bit of a rant, but love you guys. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, remember to comment, remember to subscribe, remember to share, remember to do all those things that you do on YouTube. Subscribe Wait, subscribe. I think I said that before, right? Yeah, subscription is free. I think some people think that subscription like you have to pay because like in Nigeria everything is money. Anyway, subscription is free. Remember to leave your comments in the section. Let me know what you think about roads, what you would do if you're a politician or you worked in an NPC, or maybe what you have as ideas to fix roads in your community. What you think about anything of what I said, or maybe you have an idea of a video that I should do in the future. Let me know, and I will look at the comments and see what we can do. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I will see you very soon. Peace.